Welcome to Bethel Online Education Hub. Learn anytime, anywhere. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Let's learn together, the Bethel way.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to our new topic in Earth and Life Science. Today, we will explore the fascinating connections between living things and their surroundings. Life on Earth is not isolated. Every organism depends on others and on the environments to survive. This concept is what we call interaction and interdependence. As we go through this topic, we will see how the survival of each species depends on its interactions with others and how both living and non-living factors shape the balance of life in ecosystem. Understanding these connections will help us appreciate the importance of protecting and preserving the environment we live in. To understand this better, we begin with interaction and interdependence. Interactions happen when living things affect one another or when they respond to their environment. For example, when animals eat plants or when plants use sunlight, water, and soil nutrients to grow. Interdependence means that all organisms in ecosystem rely on each other to survive. For instances, plants give up oxygen that animals need, while animals release carbon dioxide that plants use to make food. Decomposer like fungi, bacteria also return nutrients to the soil for plants to use again. Through these interactions and interdependence, ecosystem stay balanced and continue to support life. This shows this shows us that every organism, no matter how big or small, has an important role in keeping the ecosystem alive and healthy. Now, let's go through with the biological diversity or biodiversity. Biological diversity, commonly called biodiversity, it refers to the variety of life on Earth. This includes all living organisms, such as plants, animals, fungi, and microorganisms, and the genetic differences among them, the ecosystems they form, and the ecological processes that support life. This includes, first, variety of species. The different kinds of plants, animals, fungi, microorganisms. For examples, the difference between a rose and a sunflower, or a lion and tiger. Next, genetic variability. The difference within a single species, such as the many breeds of dogs, types of rice, or variation among humans. The third is ecosystem diversity. The variety of habitats and ecosystem like forests, coral reefs, glass, grasslands, and deserts, where this organism lives and interact. In short, biodiversity covers all the difference with differences within species, between species, and between ecosystem. It's what makes life on Earth rich, balanced, and sustainable. Now, let's talk about what is an ecosystem. An ecosystem is a natural unit where living and non-living components is together and interact. The biotic factors includes all living such as plants, animals, fungi, bacteria, and even humans. The abiotic factors are the non-living elements like sunlight, water, air, soils, rocks, temperature, and climate. These two components are connected. Living things depend on abiotic factors for survival, while they also influence the change their environments. For example, in a pond ecosystem, fish, plants, and microorganisms rely on water, sunlight, oxygen, and nutrients in the soil. Together, they form a balanced system where energy flows and nutrients are cycled. Now, let's talk about the pictures of an ecosystem. An ecosystem is a community of living organisms interacting with each other and their non-living environment, like air, water, soil, and sunlight. Ecosystems have several key features. First, community of organisms. An ecosystem is made up of different living things such as plants, animals, fungi, microorganisms, and humans that exist together in one area. These organisms forms populations and communities interacting as producers, consumers, and decomposers. Next is physical and chemical environment. This refers to, to the abiotic factors, the non-living components, such as sunlight, air, water, soil, temperature, and minerals. They provide the basic conditions and resources that organisms need to survive and reproduce. Last is the interdependence. In an ecosystem, living and non-living components are connected. Plants depend on sunlight, water, and soil nutrients. Animals depend on plants or other animals for foods. Decomposers recycle nutrients back into the soil. This web of relationships maintain balance and stability in the ecosystem. In short, an ecosystem works because organisms live together, interact with their environment, and depend on each other for survival. Now, let's move with the components of an ecosystem. An ecosystem is made up of two main components, the biotic factors and abiotic factors. These two works together to maintain balance and support life. Biotic factors, these are the living organisms in an ecosystem. Examples, plants, animals, fungi, bacteria, and humans. Biotic factors are the all living organisms that keep the ecosystem alive and balanced. The roles of biotic factors, they make up the community of life and play different roles to keep the ecosystem functions. First is the producer. They use sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide to make food through photosynthesis. They are the foundation of most ecosystems because they provide energy for other organisms. Next is the consumers. Consumers depend on plants or other animals for food. They can be herbivores or animals eat plants and carnivores that eats meat or omnivores, animals that eat both plants and animals, or and last is or scavenger. The last component of biotic factors is the decomposers. They break down dead plants and animals into simpler substance, returning nutrients to the soil for plants to use again. Together, these living organisms interact with each other and with environment, forming a web of life that keeps the ecosystem balanced. The next component of an ecosystem is the abiotic factors. Abiotic factors are the non-living components of an ecosystem. They are the physical and chemical elements that organisms depend to survive, grow, and reproduce. The examples of abiotic factors include sunlight that provides energy for plants to make food. Water are essentials for drinking, photosynthesis, and survival of all living things. Air that supplies oxygen for respiration and carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. Next is rock and soil. Provides minerals, nutrients, and place for plants to grow. Next is temperature. Affects where organisms can live and how they functions. The last is the climate and weather. It influences the type of plants and animals that can survive in a particular ecosystem. In short, abiotic factors are the non-living things that shape the environment and make life possible. Now let's go through with the types of ecosystem. Ecosystem can be classified into two main types, the natural and the artificial ecosystem. Natural ecosystems are those formed by nature without human interventions. They are broadly classified into two main categories: the aquatic or water-based ecosystem and the terrestrial, the land-based ecosystem. Aquatic or water-based ecosystem, these ecosystems are found in water bodies and further divided into two categories. The first is the freshwater ecosystem, like rivers, lakes, ponds, streams. and wetlands. They provide drinking water, irrigation, and habitat for fish, amphibians, and plants. The next is the marine ecosystems, such as oceans, seas, coral reefs, and estuaries. They cover most of the Earth's surface, support diverse life forms, and play a major role in regulating the planet's climate. Terrestrial or the land-based ecosystem. This ecosystem exists on land and vary based on climate, vegetation, and geography. For example, forest, dense with trees rich in biodiversity. Next, grassland, dominated by grasses, home for grazing animals. Next is the desert, very dry with little rainfall. Organisms are adapt to extreme heat or cold. Next is the tundra, a cold, treeless areas with limited vegetation, mostly mosses and lichens. And next is the mountains, ecosystem that change with altitude, supporting unique plants and animals. In summary, natural ecosystems are divided into two, aquatic and terrestrial ecosystem, each with unique features and organisms adapt to their environment. Now, let's talk about the biotic potential and environmental resistance. Biotic potential is the maximum reproductive capacity of a species under ideal environmental conditions. Biotic potential are the factors that promote population growth. These are the biological abilities of organisms to reproduce and survive, leading to the population increase. First is the high reproduction rate. Some species can produce hundreds or even thousands of offspring in a single reproductive cycle. The higher the number of offspring, the greater the chance that some will survive, even in harsh conditions. Next is the ability to reproduce early. Species that reach sexual maturity quickly can reproduce many times in short lifespan. This accelerates population growth because several generations can overlap. Next is the ability of adequate food and resources. When food, water, and nutrients are abundant, organisms can grow healthier and reproduce more successfully. Example, during rainy seasons, plants and prey animals thrive, boosting the survival of herbivores and carnivores. Next is the adaptability. Species that can adjust to changing environment, such as eating different kinds of foods or tolerating different climates, survive better. Examples, rats can live almost anywhere because they adapt to both urban and rural environment. Next is the parental care. Species that protect and nurture their young, examples, birds, animals, and humans. The survival rate of offspring is higher. This contributes to more stable and growing population. The last is the favorable environmental conditions. When climates, temperature, and habitat are suitable, organisms thrive and reproduce. Example, in tropical regions with abundant sunlight and rainfall, often support higher biodiversity and larger populations. Now, let's talk about the environmental resistance, the factors that limit population growth. These are the natural and external pressures that slow down or stop population growth. First is the biological factor, like predation. Predators keep prey population in check. Examples, wolves hunting deers prevent deer population from overgrazing vegetation. Next is the disease and parasites. In dense population, disease spread rapidly. Example, viral outbreak in humans or fungal infections in plants can cause massive declines. Next is the competition. Organisms compete for limited resources like food, space, water, and mates. Example, two bird species competing for the same nesting site can limit each other population. Next is the physical factor. First, availability of food and water. Scarcity of resources reduce survival and reproduction. Example, during droughts, many animals starve or migrate. Next is the shelter and space. Limited space for nesting, burrowing, or hiding can restrict population growth. For example, coral reef. Fish population depends on the availability of reef shelters. Next is the climate and weather. Extreme conditions such as storms, floods, droughts, and temperature shifts can kill organisms or destroy habitat. Example, sudden frost can kill crops and insects, depends on them. Now, let's talk about human and its environmental impacts. For example, pollution, like chemicals, plastics, or soils spills harm species directly or destroy their habitat. Example, industrial pollution in the river reduce fish population. Next is the habitat destruction. Deforestation, urbanization, and land conversion remove essential habitats, reducing biodiversity. Example, loss of rainforest habitats threatens orangutans and other species. Next is the overhunting or overfishing. Directly reduce populations by removing individuals faster than they can reproduce. Example, overfishing of tuna has led to drastic declines in tuna population worldwide. As we end today's discussion, we have seen how life on Earth is built on interaction, interdependence, and balance. Every species, like plants, animals, fungi, and microorganisms, and even humans, plays an important role in keeping ecosystem alive and functioning. As we also learned that ecosystem thrive because of the connection between biotic and abiotic factors. And that biodiversity makes our planet rich, resilient, and sustainable. However, this delicate balance can easily be disrupted by human activities such as pollution, deforestation, and overexploitation of resources. That's That is why it is our responsibility to value, protect, and preserve our environment, not just for ourselves, but for the generations to come. Remember, by caring for nature, we also care for life itself. Thank you for joining today's lessons. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for, for more Earth and Life Science topic. See you in our next discussions.